we're going to look at Tesla today, and I'm going to do things a little bit differently here because a lot of times you'll talk about that first initial idea. Today, pop and fade off of some weakness. You had Elon Musk with the story out that he would be stepping in as an interim CEO for Twitter when the deal closes. Now, obviously, he's dividing his time. If he's dividing his time, bit of a negative here for Tesla. So, when I looked at the actual Tesla trade, I was looking for the old pop and fade, fail off 950, and that was our initial look. However, it turned into something else, and it's much more interesting to talk about that. So I want to first set the stage for what we saw. Bit of an event when the Fed raised 50 basis points. So we went up and then down, and I'm highlighting, and this is only a 5 minutes, so we're only looking at what happened yesterday with the Fed. We made this bottom here. It's called the Fed bottom. Last time we had the first hike, we talked about the range that got made, had a great trade off of that in the afternoon. This time it was about that low that we're going to talk about here. Bounces off that low, and this is the gap up. So we do take the short position, and I don't hang on to it long enough. Held on to Twilio, not Tesla, and we can see what happens. Fine, okay, great. It went 945 into 930, solid trade. But then we start screaming to the downside, and this is where I was saying, look out for those Fed bottoms. If you're trying to pick a bottom, sit it out, man. Hold your shorts if you can. If you ain't got them, the only bottom I care about is where liquidity came in. When there's a liquidity event where you get a bit of a drop to the downside because the bid gets pulled, where do the buyers step in, and are they going to do it again? And to do one more, we had a few viewers pointing this one out, and I usually watch UVXY. Have a quick look at what volatility is doing. You need to care what is happening with volatility. So I had UVXY up, and there was no way I wanted to get a trade, or else I shouldn't have ever had a trade, unless we were making a slowdown or a turn. So what I also highlighted was on UVXY, and I'm only really showing you today, but these two lines, this is the Fed top from the afternoon on UVXY after the release, and this was the high of the day yesterday. You've got a 16 to about 1635 range there. So that's what we're looking for as a possible failure point to try and pick up a long. Now, I've got the line drawn where you had that post-Fed bottom, and I did. This long in here, the one that didn't work in front of that line, that was without a curl in UVXY. The difference here is when we start failing at this level to get below that bottom on Tesla, you've got over here in UVXY this little wick into, and it's hard to see, it's the only red candle, the wick into the high, and that little reversal. And that's all it took. That being said, if you watched the live show, you know that something else happened. There was one other thing that happened at this bottom, which 100% helped this trade. As it started to make this consolidation at the bottom, and we got the turn on volatility, somebody decided to jam the offer for 60,000 shares on Tesla, displayed on Tesla beneath 895. They got filled in a heartbeat the second it was on level one, and then this happened. A lot of times I'd be thinking about, okay, can it get back into VWAP on this trade? Maybe that's going to be the case. But the circumstances of the way it just shot up in a liquidity vacuum after that person got filled in a down market, I'm going to take the money and run. That was an absolute gift. You got the move. And on top of that, we also didn't have follow through in the pullback in UVXY. So those two things together, you get in, you get out. Sure, it was a good short, but the long was much more interesting and informative. Be so patient every day. Get better, get better, get better. If you're trying to catch a bottom, make sure you got a good level. Make sure you have a good indicator. Make sure you're getting the right side of the movement perfectly timed, and make sure you have an out. All these things came into play with the help from some Yahoo who decided to throw $52 million worth of an order selling at the bottom on Tesla. Hey, guess what? Not too bad now.